Well, my journey kind of, you can say, started in 2009 when I first fled the previous regime, TPLF led Prime Minister Meles Zenawi's regime here to US because we were, I was the editor-in-chief of the last editor-in-chief of a newspaper called Tamerat Negera, and it was started by 6 friends. The newspaper was successful, but when you're successful in journalism in terrible countries, you're not rewarded with, with at least continuing to work in your own country. So we're faced with the possibility of being charged minimum of 15 years on terrorism, and we decided it was not worth it. After we left, 2 of my colleagues, Mesfin Nagash, the managing editor, Abi Taklamaram, the founding editor-in-chief, were charged in absentia. And while I was in the States, trying to, rebuild my life, going to school, working, but missing home and being exiled was a very tough journey. So in those periods, I really thank social media for allowing me to kind of keep my life as a journalist, both as self, at the same time to be relevant in what was being discussed in Ethiopia. It kept me relevant, but it also kept me distracted, I guess, from my life here or my responsibilities. Because generations that, earlier generations, exiles, were not distracted as we were by what was going on back home. I remember in 2011 how I was very much engaged in the Egyptian revolution of Tahrir Square as if it was my story. So in 2015, in 2012, Meles Zenawi dies, and in 2015, a kind of reform starts happening within the ruling party, and the reform became very full-fledged in 2018 by the ascent of our current Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, to the position, and a really promising reform was born. In part, the reform agenda was, inviting exiled journalists, activists, and politicians, releasing imprisoned politicians, things of this nature, changing some laws, unblocking websites that were blocked by the government. And we were personally invited, directly or indirectly, and I just jumped into it. I took a one-way ticket to home. It was a fantastic thing to see my mother after 9 years, reconnect with my friends, reconnect with my girlfriend, previous girlfriend, and getting married, starting a new media company. It was fantastic. My focus, as my colleague was saying, his focus was on corruption. My focus was on literally reforming the ethnic federalism, because I believed, and many believed, that the ethnic federalism is the focus of our problem. A country as old as Ethiopia would have multiple problems. It's not going to be one problem, the economy, the demographics, our geography, our history, all this will have burdens. But I thought that at least if we start reforming the ethnic federalism and start de-ethnicizing our politics, our economy, and even our religions, it would at least be on the right direction. That was my focus. And it didn't sit well with the ruling elite, and mainly because as an ethnic Oromo, they were expecting me to fully support everything they do just because I'm an Oromo, and I don't buy that. And my 9 years of stay in the United States have even made me kind of detest ethnic politics even more. If you see a country as diverse as this build such a great country with all its past, the main thing is how it managed, with all its challenges, its identity politics, be it coming from the left or be it coming from the right. America has done a great job of changing its own story and direction. I was hoping that for my country. And it didn't sit well. When he said, you know, people invaded his house, started shooting him with handicap, it was a similar story for me, because one Friday on December 10th, 2021, just while I was in my room, they did that. They invaded our house. I was living with my in-laws because my mother-in-law was sick, and we moved in to assist her. My wife was literally a full-time nurse at that time, and also managing our media company. And over 15 federal police officers invaded our house. One of them took my picture using handicap. I asked him, could I at least even wash my face? They didn't care. They took me, and with a different and many more forces, I was returned home, took all the possible electronics, you know, phones, iPads, everything, and they went to the studio and office. The studio was built by, you know, our supporters. I was able to raise over $25,000 from all over the world, from Ethiopians who were willing to donate for our media. And they took everything. They cleaned us out. But that was not the major thing. After they took me, they said to the family, you can come to the federal police station in Addis, and then you can visit him there. You can bring him his medicine, his food. But when I got there, they took me to a different place. And they took me to a military black site. They didn't tell my family where I was. For 7 days, the family did not know where I was. They don't know whether I was alive, I was dead, or even where I was. And that was very tough for my family.
Yeah, that would be terrible.
I didn't know how tough it was when I was in prison. When I came out, it was difficult. And after the 7th day, I appeared at the court, and it was very much thanks to the.
Oh, it's okay.
It's the first time I'm speaking that way.
Oh.
Man, I'm weak.
Thank you for sharing your story. You don't
Go
have
ahead.
to say anything you don't want to. But
No, the thing is, you know, being a journalist, being an activist, you don't know what you put your family through.
yeah, it's true.
And I appeared in court,
Thank you.
and after appearing to the court, I was transferred from a black site to a normal police station. It's then that I learned how much campaign was going on, how much people have spoken. I thought I was forgotten.
Never forgotten. Yes.
And I'm sorry.
No, please.
And in the police station, we started going to the courts again. The investigations continued. The interrogations continued. It was thank God I was not tortured, but I met a lot of people that were tortured.